Howdy, howdy, howdy. My name's Inachi Sasuke. Welcome back to Prequel, or Making a Cat Cry the Adventure. I believe the last thing that was happening, because it has been some time since we've done the plot, was that Kadia, I still don't know how to pronounce it, was in the process of trying to teach herself certain magics, and this snake with arms is not real, but a result of that. Boop. Okay. You're not going to leave now when Acetil's probably only an hour or two from arriving. He explicitly told you he was going to get his schedule shifted by 6 hours and that he was going to meet up with you and travel back. Even if he got reassigned to another road or something, there would still be an Imperial Legionnaire patrolling this one. When they come by the town, apparently 6 hours later than normal, you will be briefly sad that they are not Acetil, but you'll still travel with them. And on the off chance that every Legionnaire was suddenly recalled for an emergency or something, you'd still like to ensure your safety by traveling with someone else. Maybe the textile merchant or Dagon cultists have a reason to go to the coast. You really don't want to head out on your own. Not when overconfidence has screwed you so many times. Spicy Ranch Noodle wrote, "Bro, fix the mana bar above your head to make it pretty. It looks like it was drawn by a 3rd grader." Writhed Wordsmith wrote, "Why don't you try, say, blue? Blue is a great magic color. In fact, mana potions are blue too. It's like you got a good old color code going." Unclever Title wrote, "Give Quentin a scritch behind the ears for being loyal and steadfast friend. He has ears now." Okay, so I got a blue gold wreath mana bar, and the snake now has arms and ears, and it's got the little face for it. I'd boop the snake, but I cannot boop the snake. I can only boop the cat. It's still not much of a meter when you can't tell how much it's changing, but you straighten up the Magica bar a bit and make it a clothing-coordinated shade of blue. You'd make a better one, but you're pretty sure all your imagination juice is currently going towards this extremely vivid snake you keep adding things to? A small mouse wrote, "Hey, not to redirect your attention at me, but don't you feel hungry? You've been standing here for hours." Into the drink wrote, "I think you're getting real hungry. Maybe you should eat the books. They look pretty tasty." You serve sweet rolls. In fact, 10 hours of eating sweet rolls and giving them to everyone who walks past has only taken you about halfway through this 24-pack. You could run into town and get some real food, but you're worried staying straight from the rock for too long will cause you to miss Azotil. Plus, you kind of feel like you deserve this sickeningly sweet fate for buying 5 pounds of sweet rolls. It's a complicated feeling. Anyway, let's learn about zapping things. TJ wrote, "Take an aggressive bite of a Cinnabon and get shocking." Maybe combat center spells are more your kind of jam. Part 1. Introduction. Lightning is the art of friction. It is the broil of clouds against the night sky. It is the cracking drag of fabric against fabric. It is the slow burn that drains our power as we pull magicka through the fibrous ether. And to wield the spark as your weapon is to embrace and unleash the friction that the unenlightened mage laments as his detriment. Some among the scholarly elite contend that the destruction mage's reliance upon emotion is brutish, and I confess, when it comes to the sting of angst that ignites a flame spell or the cold focus of frost, I find that my field's detractors and I begrudgingly agree. To call forth the echo of thunder, however, is not to regard emotions as your weapon, but as the terrain upon which you fight. It is to draw your uninformed energies through the tangled conflict of thought, allowing whatever change the burn of friction may inflict upon them. Oh good, it's flowery bullshit. You were worried something meaningful might happen today. Rackned wrote, "Perhaps your time would be better spent expanding skills upon which you have already basic grasp. I'm saying you should practice stuff like the telepathy thing for funsies. Maybe there's something new and interesting hiding inside what you already know." Is the snake now eating one of the sweet rolls? Trying to learn a bunch of new magic skills at once might be biting off more than you can chew, yeah. Especially trying to learn them over the course of 12 hours and without sleep. To show the flowery metaphor book how dumb it is, you imagine up a big clump of magicka and, as per its suggestion, drag it through what you can only assume is a giant mess of overthinking that surrounds you. Arcadia, zap! Well, it worked. Also, did we just jump ahead, 2 years? Hold up. We went from December 17th, 2020 to July 21st, 2022. Also, it looks like the art style got, like, an increase. CJ wrote, "Holy shit, it worked!" But how magica did that cause? White Cock wrote, "Try that again, but project it forward." Decomposer wrote, "Start blasting." Never mind, forget pessimism. You know exactly how you're going to spend the next 2 hours till Azotil shows up. The snake is like, ah! Alright, wait, never mind again. You apparently lost your internal conflict and uncertainty, and now lightning doesn't work. If nothing else, you've at least set a new record for how quickly your hopes can be raised and dashed. If being happy you learned a spell is all it takes to steal it from you, you don't think you'll ever be able to do it reliably. Never mind, fix that! That's the trick. All you have to do is keep your fuzzy mess of crippling self out there so you have something to drag the magic through, and you have this in the bag. This form of magic really isn't compatible with your style of thinking. The prone stranger wrote, "See there? Who says pontificating fancy pants are dumb? Now act like a sophisticated witch hunter and read some more flowery poetry. And don't forget, pinky out." Swizzly Bubbles wrote, "Seems you like your lightning magic. Could use some work. I've heard the best way to unlock the inner machinations of someone's mind is through one's stomach, and it seems clear the over-excessiveness of sweet rolls is rotting your brain and/or magica. But hark! Learned tomes awaiting consumption upon that rock for your brain and your mouth. What I'm saying is, eat the book, Katia. Unlock its wisdom. Be the reader." Pinky out? The intro section alone was enough to let you cast a lightning spell, then the other 200 pages can probably help you get a better handle on it. You pick up the book and read it like a normal, sophisticated person rather than trying to eat it. The dancing art is a river. It does not crash in waves as the sea or hold its form as the glacier. It is the partner of the riverbed, and she alone decides where it ought to wander, and whether the journey will be smooth or tumultuous. Her banks give it shape, and her stones danger, and her narrows speed. To lead in this dance is to take the role of the river. The arc flows where and how it must. But, as all that invokes the scrape of one force against another, even the riverbed is subject to friction. If not carefully maintained, its rapids smooth and its banks widen. To wield the bolt is to shape oneself as needed and be the conduit through which force travels. It is a task to which not all are well suited, and those of weaker will may find more success among the mud-caked savages spewing flame and frost. You're on the fence as to whether you should feel offended by that because you mostly do fire, or embrace elitism because you've also managed some lightning. Katia? Or Katia, embrace elitism. Cora wrote, "Embrace elitism, enjoy the upper crust." One of the elites wrote, "Enjoy elitism." Book Muncher wrote, "Show that book that you're the boss, eat the book." K10 wrote, "Embrace elitism, crave power, you are the new god queen of this land. Your limits boundless, elements bend to your whim, and so too will the masses. As the snake summons a crown." Dun dun. Voos wrote, "I mean, why not both? Be offended that this inanimate book with some author who has almost certainly never met you, and might just be dead, does not recognize your majesty of being able to pull lightning as well, pull off lightning as well as fire." Tiny crossbow. You decide to go for the safe middle ground of being mildly offended while also recognizing that you're pretty cool. Where'd you get a tiny... Or I guess you must have, like, poofed a tiny crossbow to destroy the tiny crown. Does that mean that the snake is also gone now, since the snake is where the crown was coming from? Also, you should be celebrating this occasion as hard as you can as a responsible adult, as you can manage being. You don't just have a new spell, you have a new damage type. Most magical resistances aren't straight up full spectrum resistances, much less your Atronach absorption. They're just elemental resistances. If the encyclopedia of deadly creatures you read on that boat ride to Cyrodiil is something you still recall well enough, try to remember if it mentions resistances for the off chance that you run into something resistant to one of your magic types. so you cannot waste magicka by using a resistant spell. Also, Dunmer are resistant to fire, so you are now slightly less fucked in the event that a slightly competent Dunmer tries to attack you. I'm glad I did that side story now to actually show her reading the book. Elf Sword. Protecting yourself against dark elf bandits would be handy, yeah, if they didn't basically all live on the other side of the country. The chances of you running into something fireproof are pretty low. Plus, if you remember the Encyclopedia of Deadly Creatures correctly, the only creatures particularly vulnerable to lightning are Daedra, which aren't even native to this plane of existence. Someone like Sigrid might pull them here from time to time, but it's not like you're going to get accosted by an angry Daedroth on the city streets. In practical terms, you're probably better off spending time practicing your fire. Still, learning a new type of magic is an accomplishment. Maybe you can celebrate by treating yourself to some cake? Alright, maybe not more cake. You could do your other favorite thing and read a book about magic. Oh god, you've hit rock top! Lacking other options, you give yourself a celebratory lo-fi for becoming a master of the arcane arts. At least you'll be able to show it off to Acetil when he arrives. Borgnar II wrote, BT-dubs, wasn't he supposed to arrive like several hours earlier? His whole thing was following Imperial protocol, and now he's not been seen at all for a huge amount of time. You think he was killed by some bee-hopping freak of a guy? The Fluffy Boy wrote, I can already see stars. Hasn't it gotten late? He said he was getting his schedule shifted 6 hours. That could have meant 11 in the morning, or it could have meant 11 at night, and since he didn't show up at 11 in the morning, he'll presumably be here in 2 hours. Or maybe a little earlier, or later, depending on how many potentially dangerous wild animals he had to stop and kill. Nothing out of the ordinary has happened yet. You've just been waiting out here all day to be absolutely sure you don't miss him. Ooze wrote, you have the perfect source of uncertainty right at your fingertips. To cast more lightning magic, all you have to do is worry about when and if Acetil's going to arrive. Imagine that something terrible has happened to him, and you'll be able to cast enough bolts to burn through all that magicka you'll need to make the journey on your own. Again, nothing out of the ordinary has happened. You're sure Acetil is fine. Submit command. Oh! Do I have to make an account for this? Or just, okay. Try mixing fire and, oh, my bad, not ire. Fire and lightning. To cook the snooty book. Is that all it took? Well, I'm not going down a list of 1,017. I don't know why I said it like that, but I guess we have once again run out of prequel to read. I kind of thought there would have been more after 2 years, but I guess not. So that's going to do it for prequel for the foreseeable future, because as far as I know, I've run out of stuff that this website has. If you want to see more, I have a whole playlist of me reading the rest of it in the meantime. And if you liked it, a like and a subscribe will be groovy. If you didn't, you need to do either one of those things. If you want to click the bell, you can do that as well so that you're notified of future uploads. And I will see y'all in the next one, whenever that happens to be. If it updates, somebody let me know. Later.